Hello, friends, and welcome to 10 Points Under, where we've got enough cheese to feed your Kwame for days. This is Big a Bullfrog, and joining me today is a very special guest, awesome Heroscape player, the end-all, be-all of the Heroscape, I don't know, competitive scene. Well, maybe not. Of Rychean and Range. It's Doc. We've got Doc joining us today.
Rats
Welcome,
in
Doc.
range. Wow. You had to go there, didn't you?
I did. Well, I knew if I said like Heroscape in general, there'd be several contenders, and while I'd like to see that showdown, I don't want to instigate anything.
Yeah, I think I probably am the rats in range stan for our community. It's probably true. I did play rats in range in this event that we are covering right here.
Yeah, it's true, and I missed that game. I was bummed about that.
It was a good game.
That's
The one where I got eliminated. You mean?
well, both of the games. The one where you got eliminated in particular, just because I know, like, I'm good friends in real life with the guy who eliminated you. So.
Yes, he played a very good game. And then, but the game I played in this round on this map was actually a really interesting one as well. I really, it was against MTL and his Buccaneers.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
That was a great game too. I don't think you caught that one. I would have made a good recording, but alas, we'll just have to settle for Boromir and Vegetarian.
I know. Just settling for these two. There were a lot of games I missed in this one, unfortunately, but we do have a good game. This will be a good cheese matchup to watch, and I'm really excited to talk about this one with you. Actually,
Sure.
Especially with your normal cheese. We've got vegetarian over here. So this is the VCheese tournament. You've got vegetarian. Actually, this is the VCheese, but there's no custom figures on the board for this game.
They're available, but not used in these armies. That's right.
Correct. Yeah. So you've got just a couple classic builds. Raelin, 4 squads of Gladiatrons and 2 squads of Blastatrons, and then over here you've got 4 squads of Knights of Weston, Gilbert, Raelin, and the Marro Warriors, which not a Knights army that I wanted to, or not that I wanted to see, that I was expecting to see, but
Right.
like one where when I saw it, I'm like, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
It's an interesting one for sure. It's it's using most of the spaces, and Marro Warriors, I've said this a few times. If I were going to add something to the A+ rankings along with Rats, Raelin, and Q9, it would probably be the Marro Warriors, just because, first of all, they're a win condition in some matchups. If you can get down to certain figures against Marro Warriors, even something that's much stronger than them, like Torkelnaw against Marro Warriors is a win for Marro Warriors on most maps. So that's kind of insane, right? That a 220 point hero who's the centerpiece of an army can't take out a 50-point squad. So there's that element, but then also, in an army like this, they're just the ranged component, and they're just a cheap ranged component that you can use. So the idea of Boromir's army is that it's your classic Knights build with Gilbert, but then it's also potentially can sort of flex to being more of a rats and screen build. So that's where you're basically shooting at the Marro Warriors behind a wall of Knights. So he can either be aggressive with the Knights, use the Marro Warriors for cleanup, or he can set up a shell with Raelin and use the Marro Warriors to kind of make the fight happen in Raelin's aura, which normally is really hard to do with Knights. Where if it was just, say, imagine it was a 540-point tournament and there was just an extra squad of Knights there instead of the Marro Warriors, you would find yourself constantly wanting to move Raelin up farther and farther to keep up with your tide of Knights. So this kind of is, I think, an effort to avoid that issue.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I think you mentioned the point total. I think the point total had a lot to do with this Knight build, because like I was brainstorming Knight builds beforehand, and I had a few that I was like, oh, that could be good, but I wasn't ever like thrilled with any of them. And so I think taking advantage of that point difference and just saying, okay, I'll add in this ranged component. I also like just that flexibility that you mentioned. Having that is just nice for the Knights, I think.
Yeah, it's funny because this is a 520-point tournament, and for the historians of the game, the 2008 main event, which is before we did Reverse the Whip, it was a Bring the Cheese event, was 520 points, 24 spaces. So it was this exact format, and the army that Vegetarian is playing, the 4 squads of Glads, 2 squads of Blast Raelin, won the event.
Oh, really?
Back in 2008, piloted by Spider Poison, who's one of the OG legends of Heroscape. He won in 2006 and 2008 actually, and I beat him in the finals in 2011. So he made the finals 3 times.
Nice.
And yeah, so he played this, and I think that of all the kind of top armies from that year, that this is the only one that was really successful in our event. And I think part of that is some of the figures didn't exist back then. There was no Fin Hydra, there was no Phantom Knights, there was no Axe Grinders. So the meta's changed. Plus, obviously, all the VC figures. VC figures really change things. With the I think the Spearmen have a big effect on the meta. Quahan has a big effect on the meta. So there's those reasons that everything changed, but then it's also maps like I think the Stingers Rats combo that was effective that year. I don't think it would necessarily have been effective on sort of smaller maps. So there's a lot of reasons that things change, but it's still cool to see somebody who, I mean, just legitimately was trying to play the best army come up with the same army that was used in 2008. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I'm a fan of the Tron build myself. It's mostly because it's one that I'm more comfortable playing. I was playing a different variant of the Trons, but yeah, I just like the flexibility of this army. So I'm really excited to see how these play into each other here.
For sure.
With that, we'll go ahead and start it up there.
Yeah. All right. So I'm curious to see where they're going to put their Raelins. I've played this is one of the maps I played more than any other map in my life. And you can tell a lot about how somebody's going to play by just where they put their Raelin on this map. There's a few different approaches depending on whether you see yourself as sort of the aggressor or the person who wants to sit back, because it is a good defensive map if you kind of control the high ground on your end of the map and force the other person to you. And if you're doing that, you can actually play your Raelin pretty conservatively. Okay, so both of them are opening with the squads. I'm expecting both of them are going to have an OM2 on Raelin to place their Raelin when they want. It's a pretty common strategy on a map like this, especially with this matchup with so many commons. They both know they're just going to roll out really conservatively to start.
Oh yeah,
and then put their Raelin and then sort of build from there. So I have played not moving my Raelin on this map. I will usually, even if I'm playing conservatively, maybe, or really defensively, that is, I'll move my Raelin up at least one space. Boromir is definitely planning on moving Raelin up because Raelin's in the back row, so that's just a guaranteed that Raelin's got an order marker, just because there's no way you're playing with Raelin completely out of the back there.
Right. Yeah. That's just a not great spot.
So, was that just Janar's dispatch? Yeah. So the super slow roll here, which makes sense. It's gonna take them a while. They're especially Boromir is in no rush for the battle to start. You could argue for some pings from Veggie, but I mean they're going to be 1v6s or even 1v7s, so it's a tough ask to get kills that way.
Right.
So it's probably not even worth risking a blast getting caught out to try to ping. So Boromir really isn't going to feel that much pressure to move up quickly.
Yeah, I'm sure they're both just looking to take their time here. Especially when you've got 4 squads of gladiatrons and 4 squads of knights that you're just trying to develop about.
Yeah, so if the battle just becomes a mosh pit where Raelin's aura is on both of everything and they're both all the way forward, it's probably advantage Glad Blast, because melee defense. So they're going to be rolling 5 defense. Actually, no, 6, because they'll have their base 3 plus 1 for melee defense 1, plus 2 for Raelin. So they'll be rolling 6 defense. which I guess that's just the same as the knights, but then the concentrated fire of the Blastotrons, when you start really getting Glad swarming, is to their advantage. Okay, so there's our Raelin placements. Okay, so that's a very conservative placement by Boromir. That it's covering all of the level 3 on his side. I'm mildly surprised that he put Gilbert where he did, because if he had Gilbert one spot up, he could have put Raelin where Gilbert is, and then he could have covered more of the level 2, which I think would have been potentially useful. He could have covered all the way out to the edge of the plateau there. He could have literally covered the entire plateau. When I've placed Raelin conservatively on that side, I put Raelin where he has Gilbert now. Probably won't be that big a deal, but that's how I would have done it. Veggie is placing aggressively, clearly intending to contest that high ground. I probably would have, if that was my thought, I probably would have wanted to put Raelin up on the level 2 plateau.
Right here?
Yeah, or even there, yeah. Even all the way up on the edge. Oh, that's a tough one, because if you put her up there, it's going to be really hard to get everybody in position. But if your plan is to flow forward and contest, well, I don't know. It's a tough call, because if you're gonna rush with the blast, you want to put Raelin as far forward. I'm sorry, rush with the glides. You want to put Raelin as far forward as possible. If you're going to try to ping and force him to come to you, I might put Raelin behind that tree on the level 2. Yeah.
Okay.
Just to make it harder for the Marro Warriors to get shots on Raelin. So you could go a lot of ways. Anyway, so what was that glyph that
So this is Wannock.
Okay, so Boromir. So Veggie has Wannock. Could come into play if things get really grindy. It could make a difference.
Yeah, I'd usually say, like, Wannock in a game, probably don't want to go for it this early, but when you're facing mostly melee, I can kind of see that as like a bait to try to draw in a knight, and
sure,
it's kind of value that out.
Well, I mean, I think with that Raelin placement, it's pretty unlikely that Boromir is going to contest Wannock.
Right, yeah.
It's not even in the aura, so
you're feeling pretty safe there.
Yeah.
There are the Marro Warriors if things get iffy, but like, there's so much development to happen. It's you're asking the question, like, when would you bring out the Marro Warriors? When is it worth to do that and sacrifice the development? Because it's still just one wound a turn, which at what point does that become okay? I need to stop that.
It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. It's more a question of, do you want to use the Marro Warriors to kind of force the action? Because if you look at where Veggie's Raelin reaches, it reaches. There's only one space that engages high ground. That grass spot or swamp spot right there next to the tree. That's the only space that engages high ground that Raelin reaches. So if a Gladiatron gets put there, yes, it can give you a boost on an attack on a knight sitting there, but the knight that would be sitting there would be rolling 7 defense. Right. Or 7 defense from anything that can hit it. So that Raelin placement, while it appears more aggressive from Veggie, it doesn't really allow Raelin to support an assault on height. So given that, you might end up with Veggie wanting to sit back and just plink with the Blastotrons to kind of force Boromir forward. And if that happens, and Boromir doesn't want to move forward, then you might see Marro Warriors come into play to force the action the other way. Essentially, basically, the Blastotrons have a range advantage. They have 7 range versus 6, and you have, but they only have 1 attack versus the 2 from the Marro Warriors. So if it became just a shooting war with no Glads engaged, the Marro Warriors might have the advantage there. So it'd be interesting to see. I don't think we'd get there, and if it does come to that, then then Veggie has some options in terms of kind of pulling back and kind of trying to bait the Marro Warriors further forward. So I don't know if I don't know if this game is going to take that turn. It could be a really grindy game, or at least a slow few rounds if it becomes just a pure shooting battle. But that I mean, what both of them want to avoid is where they're attacking with their melee troops, or Glads aren't really melee, but they're pushing troops forward beyond Raelin's aura to get the battle to the other person. Mm-hmm. If you're doing that, then you're at the disadvantage. So we're going to see this is sort of a meta game right here between the two of them, trying to figure out where the battle's going to happen. So it's very tactical. Trying to see is the thought I'm having now is, if the Marro Warriors come and play, can they shoot Raelin?
I was actually just looking at that, and I believe like you'd have this spot. I mean, I guess.
Well, that spot,
are you saying for one turn?
Yeah. Well, but what about the spot behind it? The spot behind it is technically. Yeah, that's the line of sight. That's exactly the line of sight question I'm asking. Is that, and then there's also, I guess, theoretically the other side right there. Yeah.
Yeah, these two.
Well, yeah, that one back there for sure. That's where having Boromir's Raelin one spot lower would have been really helpful to get a night screen covering the next two spots on the platform. Yeah, mm-hmm. Exactly. So it was a little bit of a mistake to have Gilbert where Gilbert was at after Boromir's first turn, but I doubt he's going to invest the order marker just to get one move Raelin one space over.
Yeah.
But at this point, Veggie is not committed to attacking up, or keep saying attacking up, to putting a Glad on low ground next to the Knights. Mm-hmm. He's trying to get those Knights to edge one space forward. I think he's happy to fight on level ground, not happy to fight shooting up. So he's doing what I think he should, which is trying to plink. Oh, and he got a kill. Nice.
Yeah. First try. That's always
for two against one. That's right. And this is what he needs. He needs those basically to be able to force the Knights forward, so that if he can get the fight to just happen a little bit farther forward than it is right now. I think that the Glad Blast has an advantage if it just becomes a mosh pit, even though it is a fairly choke pointy battle where, Veggie's not going to be able to get a huge envelop with his Glad Blast, just because of the narrow passageways on Fossil between the middle road and the edge road. It's very broken up. But still, I like Glad Blast if the battle's happening on level 1 and the blasts are shooting from level 2, where they have 2 base dice and at least one Glad boosting them, so you're getting lots of 3v6s. I think the numbers will come out in your favor over time. Now we see the Knights. 2 Knights set up there, so that's sort of your screening position if you don't want to move forward. And I could definitely see edging one farther forward and just go ahead and take the attack, just to see if you can get them to, because it's not a terrible attack for you, but I should have looked at order markers. I'm curious if there's an order marker 3 on Marro Warriors here.
Yeah, there could be. There is one order marker on Marro. Okay. So yeah, it could be a 3 there. Yeah.
I would not be surprised if it's a 3 on Marro Warriors to get them, because you can take, versus just taking one attack of 3v6 on the Glad that's sitting there next to the glyph. You could take 4 attacks of 2 or 3s against 5. It's actually a better offensive turn. Where is Gilbert amidst all of this? I can't even tell.
He's right here.
Oh, there he is. Okay. It's just a massive silver.
Yeah.
But yeah, at this point, actually, I probably expect a Marro Warrior order marker just to start, because it was clearly Boromir's thought from the start to set up a defensive shell. I mean, you could see that with the Raelin placement. Mm-hmm. So if your plan is to set up a defensive shell, it's you have to involve the Marro Warriors, or you have to at least have the thought that the Marro Warriors could get involved. And you could see at this point he's setting up the arc at the edge of Raelin's aura of knights. He's probably going to put one on that swamp space to complete the arc. Yeah. I'm expecting one is coming there. Although I think what he's calculating right now is he can't get one there this turn, so maybe it comes next turn. It seems likely that that's the next spot, and then the Marro Warriors. One of them can get to height 2 on the first turn, and the other 3 would have to shoot from level 1. Actually, I guess 2 of them could. 1, 2.
Yeah, this one could get up here, but it would be out of Raelin's aura if it does that.
Yeah, my guess is that Boromir wouldn't do that. Probably going to play it pretty conservatively.
Yeah, that just seems like, it's an unneeded risk there.
Yeah. So Veggie's doing what he needs to do, which is just trying to get attacks where he can. I don't know if he wants to get into shooting war blasts against Marro Warriors. It doesn't feel like a profitable play, but you could push a blast forward to start shooting Raelin, I guess. But that starts to get a little bit sketchy. It's a weird spot for sure. You can see how amazing the movement of the Glide Blast is. That even though Veggie is pushing much more forward than Boromir is, he's actually gotten more figures into play than Boromir has, just because moving 8 figures, 5 spaces each, is pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, it's pretty crazy. He's been able to vacate his start zone just about completely.
Yeah. So nothing doing on those plinks that time, but taking the shots that he's got, that's all you can do. So now we're gonna see. I'm assuming we're gonna see that screen get completed. I'm not sure what he's gonna do with the rest of the knights. Whether he's gonna try to fill in a little bit more of that low ground there. I assume the plan would be to get Marro Warriors to those 2 height 3 spots that he's got vacated.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the other 2 would just kind of fill in behind. Oop, 0.
Oof.
Knights, they're terrible. Doing anything with them.
They barely get to move a little bit more each turn.
Yeah, so this is you could sort of this is not your classic knight army, right? So your classic knight army would already be attacking everywhere. So this is a very different way to think about how to play knights as a more defensive build. But obviously, Boromir's been effective with it. I don't think I'm spoiling anything to say he did well in this event. I don't know if you've mentioned what round this is or not. But
I don't think I have mentioned, partially because I don't remember which round this was. This
I know which round this is, but
okay.
But I'm not going to give it away. I'm not going to give it away because I just said that Boromir did well in this event. So I'll tell you afterwards what round this was.
Oh, okay, sounds good.
It was.
All I know is it's not round 1 and it's not round final round. So
it is not the finals and it's not round 1. Those are both correct. But yeah, we're seeing Boromir is setting up the last bit of that screen there by putting that. So this clearly setting up the defensive shell to shoot from. This is, I have to say, it's a little bit of a tough nut for Veggie to crack.
Yeah, it is.
Because if you get in a shooting war with your 1v5s against the Marro Warriors 2v4s shooting back at your blasts, that's bad news. So you can't really do that. Now, do you want to back your blasts out and shoot, up 1v6 on the Marro Warriors, and then when you finally kill 2 of them, they clone? It doesn't feel productive. So do you throw Raelin forward and try to outflank and get at and get at the Marro Warriors and just crack it open. I mean, I don't know, because right now where Raelin is, you can't really crack things open. You're set to play defensively. I mean, somewhat defensively, you know, and your opponent is set up to play completely defensively. And at this point, that means that they're shooting down on you essentially. I mean, Veggie's presenting a dozen different downhill targets. Okay, so here is that blast shot at Raelin that I mentioned as a possibility.
Nice, and it works.
But it's only one.
Mm-hmm.
I might have been more. I mean, the thing about it is, any blast you place up there can get shot at by the Marro Warriors on the backside, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which then, so that's a 3v4, and that's not exciting, especially because one of the things that you are probably a bit more nervous about with this Glad Blast build is you only have 8 blasts, and so
right.
And they're fairly fragile to those ranged attacks.
Right, and normally that's not a big deal, because normally you can really sit back with the blasts in this build when you have 16 Gladiatrons to screen with.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so here we are. I'm surprised he didn't put one. I think one of them could have reached that level too. I'm surprised he didn't take that shot down.
3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, you should have been able to make that.
Yeah, so that's a slight mistake, but you know, he's clearly setting up to just roll them all up onto height next turn. Bring the last one. I'm assuming this one is going to stay relatively far back as well.
Probably back here.
Yeah. But
right down in there.
Or on low ground for no particular reason. But well, I guess, is he worried about getting engaged? No, he could have been one space over and still not.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there's a kill.
Nice.
First legit kill, because the other one was the sat Gladiatron. So yeah. So normally you're not that worried about losing the blast, but in this situation where once you start thinking about sniping Raelin, now you have to place them way more aggressively than you would normally. So
yeah, and that can go downhill pretty quickly.
Not really how you want to play them, but Veggie's in a very tricky spot here. Yeah, I didn't love that Raelin placement in the first place. I felt like it was a Raelin placement that kind of only makes sense if the Knights are going to advance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it does cover Wannick and those 2 high ground spots that he's got the blasts on. So I understand the appeal of it, but I think I would have been probably, I guess the right play is to just be maximally aggressive with Raelin.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Like,
but you could have put Raelin, 2 spaces farther forward, 3 spaces farther forward. I mean, at that point, if you do that, you're basically depending on the fact that Marro Warriors aren't going to get a bunch of order markers in the first round. So it's going to be difficult for Boromir to really take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just kind of throw some figures forward and then just try to get the high ground before the Knights have moved everything up. Like if you throw a Gladiatron on the water, the regular blue water there, then you can potentially like flow in, like with an initiative switch, you could have done it here. Although I guess you didn't even have potentially the initiative switch, but there's ways you can infiltrate that position. But the problem is you're leaving Raelin Zara to do it, and now clearly, 3 order markers on Marro Warriors. It's the Marro Warrior Reign of Terror, and I think at this point it's tough because you have to try to crack that position. With where things are now, you don't really have the option to sit back. There's just no you don't your figures aren't in the right position. You're going to be taking bad trades for like a round at least doing it. So given that, I would probably just throw an order marker on Raelin right off the bat and then try to rush in around that. Feels crazy when I say it a little bit, but I think that's the right play, because Raylan's getting shot anyway, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's worth it to just try to be able to get your glads in position, and hopefully it only takes you 2 turns to get a hole in the night screen. And if all the order markers on Marrow Warriors, they're not rats, they can't scatter back in position. They need an order marker to restore it, and it only takes 1 glad touching a Marrow Warrior to kind of take that Marrow Warrior out of commission, especially if Raelin is still active, because a Marrow Warrior shooting an adjacent glad is, it's not very effective. That's you're 2 on 6 or 2 on 2 on 6 if it's next to it. So that's you're usually going to block that, and you can turn it into the melee fight that you want this match to be. But yeah, so here we are. I think Veggie's calculation was that he doesn't really have the time to devote to a Raelin activation. He just needs to go and try to crack this open and get at the Marrow Warriors quickly, which is maybe right. It makes you really wish that Raelin was 2 spaces farther forward, because if she was, then you could do what you're doing right now and keep them protected. And then you just need 1 kill on those knights. Although I would have been tempted to throw a Gladiatron all the way around into the water to just get a full surround on that 1 knight, and just hit it with attacks of 4, and just hope that you can crack it this turn, because 4 attacks of 4 on 6 or 7, depending on where the blasts are. Could you get 4 on it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. You could get 4 attacks of 4v6 on it, and that's probably going to be good enough. And then there's no, you can be almost sure that the second order marker's on Marrow Warriors. So then those Marrow Warriors on a height, they know they're getting engaged next turn if they don't run away. So you start to infiltrate the position right away. I feel like if you're gonna go big, because now you're doing these 3v7s, and I would just really like to shift that to 4v6s and try to get one, because he just desperately needs this kill.
Right. Yeah. It's. I mean that makes a lot of sense to me. Like if you're gonna push, you gotta go in for a big push.
So now we're probably gonna see the other 2 Marrow Warriors get on the height, unless Boromir just wants to be super conservative. But I don't see any real reason for that, because even if things do get cracked this turn, he can still run one of them back and start cloning if he wants. But honestly, I don't think cloning is going to be the thing that wins it for Boromir. He might just ride the Marrow Warriors until there's a bunch of glads forward, and then you can start playing knights at that point. But now the question is, does he shoot Raelin with? Does he shoot Raelin with the one of them, and then shoot the unprotected glad with the other 3? Because there's 1 glad right now sitting out of Raelin's aura. So do you? I think you probably just shoot that one and just try to get kills. He wants to go for blasts. Interesting. See.
Let's see that. 3v4s. I can see that.
I understand it. I think my choice would have been to go for the glad, but what do I know? I didn't get the kill. I got eliminated in the 3rd round by 4th mass. What? Yeah, it's that was the one that I would have been shooting, and he killed it anyway. So it's all.
Yeah. Why not both?
I guess. So.
Yeah, I think like all I would have done differently there. It was just like a little bit of different order. Shoot that.
Here it is.
But nice. Here's the Raelin.
This actually does make some sense. So put it in the second order marker. I get it, and it's tough. It's painful to make that second Raelin activation in the middle of your, in the middle of your attacks, when you really need those kills. But at the same time, like, Raelin was going to be irrelevant, and you saw that Boromir didn't even take a shot at Raelin with the one that arguably had the line of sight to Raelin. So I think actually did shoot at Raelin the previous turn. So Boromir was assessing that Raelin was no longer a threat. So you have to make Raelin important.
Right.
You can't let Raelin become irrelevant. So if Raelin takes 4 shots here. Oh, I don't know if Raelin takes 2 shots here and survives, like that's 2 shots that didn't go on anything else. And then now Veggie has the option to flow completely over the top with them. Unfortunately, does he have that line of sight? If he does, that's 3 shots. He takes Raelin out this turn. That's, or even potentially 4. He takes Raelin out this turn. That's pretty devastating. They're probably discussing. I would guess that line of sight's not there.
That would be my guess as well.
But we'll see. We'll see what they decide. But the issue now is that Veggie did not crack the night screen, and he does have his third order marker coming up. He is going to have a chance to, but Boromir is going to see it if he rushes on the third order marker. He's going to place order markers. He's going to be able to put an order marker on knights if a knight falls on order marker 3. So now it's a difficult situation where, you know, you're no longer going to be necessarily be able to take advantage of the hole you put in the screen. So he's moving those back so that he can get 4 shots on Raelin. So in a way, this is obviously you don't want Raelin to die, but in a way, this is what you want. You want Raelin to be relevant. So this is not what Veggie wants. He doesn't want to see two of twos against. But that's the first wound on Raelin, right? So
yeah. And that's the second one.
That's the second wound on Raelin. It's a pretty critical juncture here.
Yeah. Oof.
4 out of 5. Yeah. So this is obviously not what you wanted.
Yeah. Oh, clutch.
Oh my goodness.
Nice. Holy cow.
So, all the same, not looking great. I'd say at this point, I mean, I know, maybe it sounds a touch melodramatic, but Veggie's only real chance here is getting a piercing the screen here on this turn, and then winning the initiative switch, and getting and then getting to the Marro Warriors and kind of establishing position on that plateau on order marker 1 of the next round. And in doing that, you can potentially kind of stabilize it. Maybe Raelin doesn't get maybe Raelin takes 2 attacks to 2. Maybe Raelin blocks them, and then you can start to really roll over the top. It's a tough spot, but I think that's kind of your best hope here.
Yeah, it's definitely not ideal, but I do think that there, especially if the initiative switch happens for him, I think there definitely is a chance that he could just like turn this pretty well by getting Vlad's up in here and taking over stuff.
So he decided instead of attacking, and I agree with this decision, instead of attacking Marro Warrior, attack that second knight. So now this is what we call the Kinseth Memorial big initiative roll here. He really needs to. I assume Gilbert's going to take the wound here, or maybe Raelin, the Wannick wound. Actually, probably Raelin, because Raelin's so unthreatened at this point. And if Raelin does get threatened, it's late in the day. He decides Gilbert's less important, which is reasonable. But if Veggie desperately needs this initiative, if he gets this initiative, he can kill or at least nullify 2 of the Marro Warriors this turn. Because as soon as you put a Glad on them that's in Raelin's aura, they can't attack Raelin. They can't leave engagement, obviously, with Cyberclaw. And potentially, so I mean, you're still potentially taking those 2 level ground shots, but Raelin might block those. So, and also there's a good chance order marker 1 is on knights to try to refill that. So if you win initiative, you could potentially prevent. Oh
man.
That's so it's probably Knights Marro War. Oh, Marro Warriors 1. I did not expect that. Because what that means is that basically he's putting more value in killing Raelin than he is in defending his position, essentially. Because or maybe he's basically saying, if Raelin's dead, I'm fine with just knights against Glads. So he can shoot Raelin from where he's sitting right now, and then if those 2 Marro Warriors get murdered on the next turn, well, it's fine. His next 2 order markers are on knights, and he's just fighting glads that are outside Raelin's aura with his knights that are inside Raelin's aura, and it's a decent battle. So I think that's my guess is that this is Marro Warriors knights. And he's just assuming he's just basically trying to get the Raelin kill on order marker 1, not really trying to reinforce the position. So.
Yeah, and that kind of makes sense because so now with Raelin dead, and like knights still probably don't love fighting into blast glads, but without Raelin and where they do have Raelin, so they'll have 6 defense. I think that's a lot nicer.
Yeah, it's an exchange. It's an exchange you're willing to go for. Now, looking to pick off a blast. So this is interesting. My thought on his thought process here is he's thinking, do I still want to go after blast now when I'm probably not putting many more order markers on Marro Warriors? I guess he's still thinking that he's going to be doing work with Marro Warriors because the thing is once you switch to knights, you're not really going to get at the blast anymore. Really only Marro Warriors that are going to snipe out blasts. Looking pretty bad here for Veggie, but it's not like it's over,
right? Yeah.
Because if you can control the high ground, which the Glad Blast is capable of overwhelming this position, and if you can control the high ground there, so yeah, I would have probably run around the backside of that position too, but I guess maybe what you're thinking, if it is knights, but you're probably going to kill something, and then the knight's going to be able to get to the high ground. So I don't know. I probably would have floated around both sides there, just on the thought process that the way you win this at this point is to overwhelm the high ground. And if you basically thinking if you've got 3 turns of this coming, and then you get an initiative switch, potentially you get the glads all on the level 2 looming over the start zone, and then height advantage becomes more important than Raelin at that point. But I guess Veggie's thinking, let's just try to basically go one side so that fewer glads can get attacked at once. The problem with killing that particular Marro Warrior is it means a knight gets height.
Right.
Kill it.
Yeah, that's
Whereas the one that one there, you can kill it and it doesn't give height. Or you could just not kill anything. That way you don't have to worry about it.
Boom, there you go, problem solved.
Don't have to worry about what positions you're vacating if you don't kill anything. IQ 2000 move there. Yeah, so as predicted, it's knights. So Veggie has accidentally done something pretty useful here, though, by essentially turning the Marro Warriors into a screen. But Jander's Dispatch can put a couple knights on the low ground there. At least one of them will probably go to the very top water spot there. I don't know if I would go to the lower water spot because you can get. Actually, the Gladiatrons don't engage on height anyway, so you may as well take them both. I mean, the Gladiatrons aren't attacking; it's the Blastatrons that are attacking. So
right, so
you may as well put the knights on low ground, I guess, because the Blastatrons can hit from anywhere anyway. We'll see. It's a grindy affair, as it often is when you've got Raelins on both sides and almost over 20 plus squad figures on both sides.
So. Yeah.
Not surprising that it turns into a bit of a mosh pit, especially this map, which is fairly constrictive. It's, I like this map a lot. It's definitely a bit different than a lot of the other competitive maps that see play now. It's one of the more old school maps.
Mm-hmm.
In that it does have, what I call intermediate height, where you've got height that you can get to before your opponent that you can just hunker on, so that automatically makes the map more defensive than a lot of the maps you see these days. Most maps these days don't have like a hill that's on your side of the map.
Right, yeah, and then like low ground in the middle.
Yeah.
But it does make it work.
Yeah, and the fact that it's road mitigates it. I mean, I think Melee
has
a perfectly good shot on this map in general. So he's just debating his dispatch, I guess. I guess he decided against putting the figures on the water because he doesn't have Gilbert up there anymore. Because if he'd had Gilbert up top, then the dispatch would have been giving move boost to them, or the attacks there would have been getting the attack boost from Gilbert. So
yeah, turning that into 4v4, which would be not bad at all.
So this is, I guess he's just basically just passed his turn, which I get. I don't think I would have done that. I think I would have taken an attack at the top.
Yeah, at the least.
But a victim of his own success. He did not expect his
I'm just doing too well this game. I just can't do anything else.
So much winning. So I mean, if I were Veggie, I would be looking to set up a move around the other side. I think you want to pressure. You want to pressure Boromir to stretch his screen thinner.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he's basically giving you level ground on the other side because of his Raelin placement makes it an attractive spot, because you can put 2 glides there and they're going to be rolling 4 defense. They're not going to have to worry about getting facing 4 attack. But right now, Veggie seems content to try to kind of shoot through the Marro Warrior screen, or maybe he's going for some shots on Raelin here. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That actually makes some sense. Just see if you can, if basically say, so this is actually this is pretty clever, because he's clearly betting that the 3rd order marker is also on knights, and basically saying, well, if you're just going to pass, I'm not going to make things easy for you by punching a hole in your Marro Warrior so that you have somewhere to attack through.
Right.
I'm going to make you choose to put stuff on low ground, or go around the far way, or move your Raelin. And if you just want to pass your turn, then go ahead and pass your turn. But meanwhile, I'll be plinking your Raelin. So because if he can get some miracle shots through there, I mean, and kill Raelin, then all of a sudden he's actually looking pretty decent. Because the Marro Warriors are mostly neutralized, and if you can get both Raelins off the board, I mean, he's down a few squad figures, and Gilbert is, Gilbert is Gilbert, but Glad Blast does well in this matchup if you just get the Marro Warriors and Raelin off the board. Now Boromir is debating what to do about the unwillingness of his Marro Warriors to die. It's a difficult problem.
Just kill them yourself. That
I feel terrible for him. It's so unfair.
Awful.
Yeah, that's the move, right? Move Gilbert up into the space space behind those Marro Warriors. Kill your own Marro Warrior, and then
dispatch into there.
Dispatch right in there. Boom! You got an attack with a boost, attacking down.
Yeah, got 5 attack. Can't get better than that.
What could possibly go wrong? Okay, so now he's decided to go for it here. This is this is an interesting way to do this, because if he had gotten the kill there, then he could have dispatched. He could have dispatched one. Well, no, because if he dispatches it into the water there, it gets Cyberclawed.
Oh, that's true.
I don't love that. I don't love that move, to be honest, because now he's basically forced to do that, because otherwise Gilbert could get surrounded and get pounded with 4 attacks of 5 on the first turn of the next round.
Right.
4 attacks of 5 probably kills Gilbert, and getting Gilbert off the board at this stage is actually a pretty big deal, especially with those 2 Marro Warriors locked down. If Gilbert's dead, that basically really shifts the math of a long-term no Raelin fight in the favor of the Glad Blast. So, but at this point, now the numbers are really starting to tilt in Boromir's favor, just in terms of squad figure. Those 2 kills are pretty huge.
Yeah, that's really nice for him right now.
But he is going to get a couple. He's going to get attacks of 4 on Gilbert potentially, and I would be happy with 4 4v6s on Gilbert here, just because you can spy the order markers to start the next round, and if there are order markers on Marro Warriors, then you can shoot the Marro Warriors. But I wouldn't take the Marro Warriors off the board right now. I would just go for Gilbert.
Yeah, yeah.
Where is he? Is he shooting Gilbert now? I can't even tell.
He is shooting this knight.
Oh, okay. I would definitely be going for Gilbert.
Well, with these rolls, it doesn't really matter either way.
No, it didn't matter.
Oh man.
I'm once again. Vege's making all the hard decisions not matter by refusing to. So there you go. When
interesting.
On Marro Warrior to open up the path, which makes this initiative more important than it was before, because now if Veggie wins the initiative, he can pop a Glad right there.
Mm-hmm. And it's a 24.
Basically. There you go. So this. Yeah, so that, I mean, I think it was 100% the right play to not attack the Marro Warriors. I would have attacked Gilbert there just because if I can get 4 attacks of 4 on a hero, I'm going to take him. You know, the overkill, it doesn't matter there. I'm going to plink weaker figures. I'm going to use my big shots on things that can take big hits. So he's going to be able to, he's going to be able to get a blast up on height here. So it's 3 on Knights, 1 on Marro Warriors. So I would continue to ignore the Marro Warriors, obviously. At this point, you can get 3 attacks of 4 on Gilbert and then 1 attack of 2 on Raelin. Might be my play. I mean, I know it's weird to not focus on the Knights, but I just don't see you getting the Knights down below squad size anytime soon. And I think our classic what does winning look like question, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think winning looks like grinding through a ton of 6 defense Knights until they're down to 3, and then dealing with the Marro Warriors and Raelin and Gilbert. I think winning looks like getting Raelin and Gilbert off the map quickly, and then winning a relatively favorable matchup of Knights versus Glad Blast, where you can get your blasts on height, where they're going to be hitting for 3 a lot, hitting for 4 a lot, and you can just win on numbers. I think the rather than get lucky by killing 12 Knights, get lucky by killing Gilbert and Raelin, which is still getting lucky. You know, it's still going to take something. You're just going to have attacks at like 1 attack of 2 a round or something going against. I'm sorry, if you just do 3 attacks of 2 against Raelin with that 1 blast on height, and then the others are all hitting Gilbert, it's a path. It's not a great path, but it's a path. I mean, I like what Tanner has done. I like what Veggie's done since he sort of found himself in this predicament and had to throw Raelin forward. I think it was smart to kind of force Boromir's hand to flow around into the water.
Yeah, that was.
And now you've made the fight much more manageable. See, but every time you attack Gilbert, you roll over 4. You make me look really dumb when you do that. I'm like, you should attack Gilbert, and then every time he attacks Gilbert, he does absolutely nothing.
Yeah. You know, classic.
But I guess he didn't take the shot at Raelin. See, I would definitely be throwing just 1 attack at 2 at Raelin every turn there, just on the principle that in the long run, I'm going to need to get Raelin off the board before I kill everything.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think you can. I don't think statistically you can win this fight by just getting lucky against 11 remaining Knights.
Yeah, especially when they've all got Raelin. I mean, like, and I think you said earlier too, like, you know, if Raylan's there, for both of them, like say Raelin had survived this, and you've got both of those auras going on, then go for Knights. That's probably fine because then it's more even. Yeah. But without that Raelin backing, then you're just going to lose out on the attacks. So I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So you want the favorable Raelin grind.
Yeah. And I mean, and I'll say, like, I mean, it makes sense to me. But honestly, if I were playing this game, I'd probably be doing the same thing that Veggie's doing, because I look at that and like, attacks of 2 at Raelin. I don't really want to do that. I'd rather take higher attack things. But
well, you know, it's not going to matter if you get 3 kills in 3 attacks.
Right? Yeah. You know.
That was an absolutely devastating turn. He doesn't even have a Glad available to engage the knight that's outside Raelin's aura now. That's painful. That kill was probably the most painful of all, because that was a knight that knight was easy pickings. He could have shot it. He could have just left that glad on it and shot it with attacks of 3. It would have been 3v4s. That would have been a great target for the next turn. But now, you know, he doesn't really have. I guess he could he bring that one down there? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I guess that one could get there. Yeah. But then he doesn't have. I guess he still has enough to fill in. No, he doesn't have enough to fill in both the height. He needs that one.
Here. Yeah.
Okay, so he can move that one. Now he can shift the others around. Maybe. Does he have a way to? I haven't followed which of the glides have already moved, but if he can shift them all and get move the glide, maybe. Oh, but that one it would take a leave.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. So that's engaging with a blast, which.
I get it. I mean, you're at this stage. You do what you get. I mean, he's got it. I think it's probably the right decision, actually. Oh, well, all right. I probably would have done it, actually, just so that I could screen out the back one. And now he's not even getting kills on the. Oh, there he did. He got the kill on that one.
That's nice.
But I probably would have put two blasts up top there, just because at this point you need them.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you're choosing between bad options at this point. Let's be straight. I mean, at this point, actually, I think in the situation that Veggie finds himself in at this point, I actually agree with the strategy now of just going after knights, because you need to get spectacularly lucky at this point. So you may as well, rather than count on killing Raelin and Gilbert and then killing the knights, just count on getting a bunch of whiffs and getting the knights down. There's 9 of them left, so you need to kill 6 before it starts to matter.
That's so many.
It's a lot. Yeah. I think did he forget to? Oh, there it is. There's the dispatch. Okay.
Yeah.
Rolled 4 symbols on the dispatch.
Pretty nice. Pretty good.
Yeah. At this point, he doesn't really want to go very far. I think he's pretty much just gonna fight where he is. But yeah, I mean, you kind of see how this Boromir's army, this Knight Raelin army works. You just need the Marrow Warriors to do enough work that the fight happens in Raelin's aura. That's all they really have to do. They just have to do enough work to prove to your opponent that the fight's going to happen where you want it to happen. And Knights fighting in Raelin's aura is a pretty tough nut to crack.
Oh yeah. Knights are already super tanky. And you know, just like strong offensively and defensively. Raelin just like, oh, and by the way, defensively you just win now, so it's great.
Yeah, and there are armies that can diffuse this. If you, for example, if you have, I don't know, Q9, then you can comfortably shoot the Marro Warriors and force the Knights forward. Now you're basically in that kind of matchup, you know, Boromir presumably just plays more aggressively with Raelin, just puts Raelin a little farther forward, and you can still win that fight, absolutely. But you can't just play the defensive shell against somebody that can really outrange you. But Black Glass is a funny animal, because it's an army that's attacking from range, but that acts like a melee army in a lot of ways.
Right. Yeah.
Because it needs those engagements to get good dice. How many glads left now? 4?
Glads, yeah, 4 glads and 7 blasts still. So.
Right.
That for him, but I mean, once those glads are gone.
Yeah, there's just not really enough juice left. Even if you just lifted Raelin off the board and set her aside at this point, I just don't see enough attacking power left. To deal with it. Attacking power is maybe the wrong way to put it. There's just not enough ways to screen out at this point. The Knights could just go aggressive, flow around, kill the blasts, and end the game that way. It doesn't, like, you don't need to grind through the remaining glads, because they're not sufficient to screen out your blasts.
Yeah, that's always a tough part to hit with the Glad Blast army is when you're down to the blasts, and especially when you're this far behind, it is hard if you get behind to do catch
Yeah,
up when you've just got a bunch of
this
blasts.
is actually the situation that I'm most familiar with, because I've mentioned this to you before, but I've two times I've played Glide Blast in the main event, and both times I played, because it's the reverse the whip, and I'm trying to just skirt the line, make the weakest army I can pull off.
Mm-hmm.
I played both times. I played one squad of Glads, two squad of Blasts, which is more or less what Tanner has left. So with Raelin, I I'm very familiar with like this situation, and it's an interesting situation in the abstract. I think in this situation it probably feels pretty hopeless, but you get these situations where you have to decide, like, okay, I'm going to move this blast up to boost this other blast and hope that I get the kill, so that the blast won't be engaged anymore, and it can attack something else that's engaged with this Glad, and it can get the boost also. So because when you're engaged with a blast, it doesn't get the boost; it just rolls one die.
Mm-hmm.
So you're trying to set up these chains, but it's a drastically less efficient army than when you have just lots of Glads and you can just engage everything. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
nobody's playing a one X Glad build in the VCheese tournament.
Surprisingly, not even Daisol's doing that.
No, I saw one for the Microcorp Troopers,
which is a pretty good army.
It is a pretty good army, and it's a good way to represent the VC stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I actually liked her army a lot in this event. It did not work out for her. I believe she played Boromir in the first round, if I remember correctly.
Oh, actually, yeah, I think that's correct.
And had to deal with the same knights, and now that's an army that can force Raelin to be more aggressive. They can force you forward a little bit, because those the Microcorp are very comfortable just blasting all from a distance. So,
mm-hmm.
but obviously knights are just do very good in the matchup against Microcorp Troopers. So.
Yeah, I'm sure they were happy with that.
I'm trying to. I'm getting the armies of the two different VC events we've run confused, but I believe she actually had two squads of rats with the 3 squads of troopers. So
I think so. Yeah. This was the one where she had the rats.
Yeah. Anyway, still can't get the kills. Even with those
it's just struggling to get anything dead here. Which, I mean, like 6 defense, so that's not hugely surprising that it's a struggle.
Yeah. You can see Boromir, after sending that one knight forward, got really disciplined and is just holding the line inside Raelin's Zara there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, a few things I would have done differently. Like I said, I would have been very slightly different in my Raelin placement than Boromir was. Just that one spot down, I think,
mm-hmm.
would have ended up being a lot stronger for him in terms of being able to reinforce the backside of that plateau and be a little bit less vulnerable. With Veggie, in retrospect, just had to be fully aggressive, and in the end, it just cost him an order marker. He just had to move Raelin up, and then, of course, Raelin ended up not lasting long enough to make it really worth that order marker. But that is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of had to do it. Had to take that risk when he did. But down to the one Glad. And at this point, you see the big advantage the Glads give you, because now that knight's just going to be able to swing around to Wannick. Something it could not have done before. But I guess Boromir's just deciding, I'm going to stay in Raelin Zara until everything next to Raelin is dead. I don't know whether he's going to try to finish it off with Marro Warriors just for swag.
For the achievement.
Yeah. It's literally just the blast at this point. Just 7 blasts against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 knights.
Yeah, that's
2 life Gilbert, 3 life Raelin, and 3 Marro Warriors.
It's a pretty poor matchup there.
Yes. It's I mean, it is a tough map to kind of come back on when these things go against you sometimes, because it gets so choked up in a matchup. I usually don't see this many figures on the board at once, so usually this map doesn't get quite this clogged, but with 20 some squad figures per army, it did get a little bit choked up. So
That's true. I guess
once
that's a good
things
point.
kind of go against you, it's tough to kind of find the way around. It's not like Veggie really had the opportunity to like come around the south end of the map to take Raelin.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
All right. We'll see. We'll see how this goes out. Veggie going with a nice old wait then fire Blastotrons and
I think he's probably going to put his order markers on the blasts. Is my suspicion. I think
that's my guess, but
maybe this is time for the surprise order marker on the Glads.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, that could be it.
That was my move in 2011 against Spider Poison. So I played I played Spider Poison in the finals in 2011, and that was the first year of Reverse the Whip, and I was playing his Glad Blast against my Torkelna army.
Mm-hmm.
My Torkelna army had Crab that year, and one of the key moves of the game, I actually put an order marker on Glads just to run them out and attack the Crab.
Oh wow, nice!
I actually got a kill, but more importantly, locked them down so that the rest of my army could move up. I needed the road bonus to reach them, so because otherwise I couldn't engage them. Like he had placed them where their normal movement would not allow the Crab to get engaged.
Mm-hmm.
And but then when I revealed the order marker on the Glads, I moved the Glad up, and he's like, "No, they don't get the road bonus." I was like, "No, the order marker's on the Glads. They're actually moving. They're not movement bonding." And he was like, kind of laughed, and he was like, "I'm so accustomed to people making that mistake." Like he just instinctively corrected me.
That's beautiful. That's awesome.
It was a good moment.
It's cool. I dream to have a moment like that because I've often fantasized about like when would I have an opportunity to pull a surprise Gladiatron order marker, and I've never had it personally in my games, but that's a great one.
I can't remember another time I've used a Glad order marker that significantly, but to engage the Crab using a road bonus and get the kill was about the most impactful a Glad order marker can be. It kind of changed the whole complexion of the game because he had he had kind of just been shelling up and blasting with the Crab, kind of like Boromir was doing with the Marro Warriors in this game, and sort of just putting me in this difficult position where I was going to have to move outside Raelin Zara, and by getting that one, by locking them down, I was able to kind of buy myself some time to move into position and set things up. Of course, I didn't have quite the screen of knights, that Boromir had. All I had was, there's the clone. So he is going to finish it with Marro Warriors for swag. So, discipline to the end, not leaving Raelin Zara. I think at this point it's actually honestly kind of silly. You could just rush out with the knights and finish it.
Right, yeah. I mean there is always the possibility, I guess, you've got these Blastotrons that can then get the homing beacon or homing device or homing whatever it is going on.
Yeah, they can boost each other. I mean, the real move, I guess, would have been to leave the last order marker on the knights, leave the grass level 3 space open. That's the most forward one. Yeah, that one.
Oh yeah.
And then on your order marker 1, just drop Raelin there.
There you go.
And then
just attack
rush.
In. Yeah.
And rush the knights from there, and you can, if they want to avoid engagement, then they have to leave the height. So either way, you win. Or just to force them to run and gun from there. This is a little bit of a silly finish here.
Yeah, it kind of is.
It's like, come on, dude, you got 2 squads of knights and Gilbert, just go in there and kill them. They've got 2 defense.
Just get it. Just take your prize.
Yeah. He keeps trying. Did he try to clone again there? Or?
His last turn.
Because he did move it. He did move the Marro Warrior up. I think he tried to clone again and failed both of them.
All right, looks like we got some knights coming in now.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, down to 1 Marro Warrior. Making progress, making strides here.
Yeah, in the late game here.
Oh, that's
and look, there's
a pretty happy kill.
This is actually, yeah. I mean, Boromir's discipline served him very well this game, but this is, I think, actually working to his detriment. Like I said, if he had left that level 3 spot open, then he could just pop Raelin there. As it is, I think the play with 3 life left on your Raelin, just throw her forward.
Yeah.
And that way, you can attack all around with it.
Yeah, I get some good coverage with her, and I mean, it'll be attacks of 2 from height, which could get her in a turn, but if she survives, then you're engaging. And
yeah, I mean, I think that the right play for Veggies actually to engage Raelin with 1.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah,
try to get 3 attacks and 3, and back out the others so that they can't get attacked, and basically they'll just be the 1 blast. But it's which is and the hope basically all you're hoping is that Gilbert doesn't kill that blast, which means that basically the whole Knight army gets bogged down back there.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to block an attack of what is it, 3v2, but whatever, 1 attack. I mean, that blast is dead. You just want it to die to a Knight, not to Gilbert.
Right. Yeah. Just slow things down a good amount there. All right. There's a wound. Nice.
Now he should save that last blast and try to kill Raelin with the attack of 1.
Oh yeah.
So they get the other attack the other way, but didn't matter. Yeah. Raelin just didn't die. Now Gilbert's
classic vegetarian this game.
That's the whole game in a nutshell right there. But if Gilbert can kill that, Gilbert tries to kill it, then he rolls dispatch. If Gilbert kills that, then the whole position collapses.
Yeah, there you go.
If he rolls 3 symbols on the dispatch just to roll salt in the wound. Now basically that means that 4 Knights get to attack.
Mm-hmm.
Because he can get a couple of them would have to attack up, but he can get 3 level, which is pretty insane.
Yeah,
you can get 3 level attacks and 1 attack up, and all inside Raelin Zara. So that's well, actually no, one of them wouldn't be because it'd be behind the tree, but still, it's pretty good. He might just go for 2 level ground attacks then, because if you could put one directly on the middle of the 7 hexer, but then that's behind the tree, so it wouldn't be in Raelin Zara. But honestly, probably worth it. Just finish the game.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
because once you engage a blast, it doesn't get to attack with boosts anymore, and you get a couple kills. There's just not that much left.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as you put 1 Knight on that level 2 road space, all 3 of those blasts are engaged and can't run away, which means you're just gonna be able to reinforce the position and get them again on order marker 3. So, I mean, I would want to engage every one of the blasts just so that none of them can shoot Raelin.
Yeah, that'd be. And then just being able to take those 3v2s, Coward's Reward is like extra nice to keep the kiting down.
Exactly, they're not going to disengage.
Yeah.
So. I mean, maybe they do just because how are you going to win anyway? But, I mean, you're going to win by getting insanely lucky. So, so you may as well go for it. And right, exactly. So those were the 4 spots I was talking about. And you can dispatch the others forward next turn. So that's a big whiffer.
Ooh, nice block.
Now I'm sure Veggie's thinking, now I get the dice. Yeah. Now all of a sudden I can get the blocks. That is what I would be thinking in this situation.
Now that Raelin's gone and I've lost my figures with melee defense, now I've got the blocks.
Yes, exactly. But that's funny that the Boromir's Raelin ended up in exactly the same spot that Veggie's Raelin was in.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
It ended up being the spot.
That is the hot spot. So take note, kids. This is the Raelin hot spot for the map.
It's one of them. It's the most aggressive place you can put a Raelin, because if you put your Raelin at the front edge of your start zone, you could reach there.
Mm-hmm.
So that is one. You see, I see that one. I sometimes see, like I said, one space down from where Boromir is sort of the defensive one. Another one is just on that plateau. Like if you're in kind of a range v range fight, and you just want it just far enough back that it can't get shot from the other level 3.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes you'll put it on the road back there, and then sometimes in melee support you'll put it at the farthest forward of the level 3s, just to support a melee attack. I've played a lot of games on this map. It's probably my most successful lifetime map. So.
Oh, nice.
So I'm something like 20-1 on this map. I still remember the one though. That's how it always works.
Yeah.
Anyway, so looking to wrap it up right here.
Yeah, a couple 4.
Actually, we can't get them all. There would be one blast left. We'll see if Veggie wants to play it out. Again, I think this might be a situation where Veggie's just gonna play it all the way out for the fans. But
see.
But yeah, it's an impressive game. This was round 2, by the way. So.
Oh, okay. That was going to be my guess, but I wasn't certain. I was thinking either 2 or 3.
Yeah, but Boromir, without no spoilers, but Boromir did make a deep run in this event. Anybody who wants to figure it out can, of course, go to Heroscapers and look up the results. But Boromir did make a deep run in this event. And I think it's pretty cool to see sort of a different take on Knights that he did. You know, I mean, the traditional sort of Matthias Maccabeus orthodoxy of Knights is, you know, you play them without Raelin, and it's a, you know, you maximize your Knight spaces and you play an aggressive build and you try to flow around, and it's certainly really strong that way, and you could definitely play it that way. When I played Matthias in 2010, he played Knights with Airborne, but it was the same deal, though. We had 5 squads of Knights. I'm sorry, 4 squads of Knights and Gilbert, you know, but no Raelin. So this idea of playing Knights with Raelin, I think it works because Raelin's good with everything.
Yeah, and, surprise.
And I think Marro Warriors can tilt things towards Raelin a surprising amount. You know, and there's a lot of matchups where Marro Warriors. I mean, watching Boromir play, I didn't see every game he played, but the games he played, I thought the way the Marro Warriors played really tilted the matchup towards his Knights. You know, basically pushed the enemy into his Knights, which is where he wanted the fight to happen. So, I mean, how many dice boosts did Raelin give this game? Like, how many additional defense dice were rolled because of Raelin?
Right.
It's
yeah.
Like an insane number. So that's how you win.
Yeah, it was huge, and I think the Raelin Marro Warriors, you know, just that small package. I mean, it's a relatively small package. Marro Warriors being insanely cheap, but like that I feel like that just adds so much flexibility to the Knights. And I think that's especially strong for the. I mean, like you said, this army did pretty well in this event. He went pretty far with it, and I think. The Raelin Marro Warriors makes it especially a lot of sense in the VCheese meta, where, like, especially if you run into like a Cathar matchup, I think your Marro Warriors can potentially give you like that. I don't know if he actually played Cathar in his run. I don't remember what Cathar armies there were.
There were surprisingly few.
Yeah, was it?
But
maybe
obviously it influences what people play.
Yeah.
There were surprisingly few of them this time around. There were more of them the previous event, actually. But then I think it was because there were so many dragons in the previous event, people were metagaming against the Quahans and the Nilfheims. So
right, yeah.
But it's funny if you look at the 2 armies that played in the finals of the first VCheese event, both had Marro Warriors, and the Raelin Marro Warriors did very well in this event as well. The armies that had them. So
yeah. So
it's a good combo. It's 130 points that really changes what your opponent does. So
yeah.
and it fits in with a wide variety of builds. Um, even builds that have like other range, like dragons and stuff, it's still pretty handy to toss Marro Warriors in there.
Yeah, I mean, like, just for what it does, and just I'll say the flexibility that it gives you, because I mean, you can lead with them, you can close with them, you can mid game with them. They can be relevant at any point when you need them.
Yeah, I mean, I think in this matchup, it was actually kind of silly when Boromir turned to them in endgame because it was
Right. Yeah.
it was basically unnecessary. But it the way he used them as basically just it wasn't even really as like an initiator. It was like as a meat and potatoes middle of the game, ranged attacking force, and it made a huge difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Doing really well. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me for this game, Doc. It was really good to have you on and fun to talk about this game with you.
That was a good one. Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, really enjoyed this one. Let's see. Before we close out, do you have anything you'd like to say to the viewers?
I don't know when this one's going to be coming out, so I don't know what we'll have in store for online stuff. We're starting to talk about another live event.
Ooh, nice.
For the spring, just because we can have live events that aren't National Heroscape Day or replacing Gen Con. So we'll probably have another one sometime this spring. I wouldn't be shocked if sign-ups for that are up when this gets posted. So we'll see.
Sweet, yeah, I'll keep an eye on that. If there are signups going on, you can find them in the description. I'll definitely link those in. Yeah. But yeah, thanks again for joining. As always, check out the description. There's stuff in there to check out. There's you can check out the original thread for this event if you want to see what other armies there were. How far armies went. If you're like, oh hey, this Boromir army is really cool. I want to see what other matchups did it have. You can find stuff like that. So just a heads up about that. But other than that, well, that wraps us up for today or tonight or this morning or whenever you're watching this. So thanks again, Doc, for joining for this, and thank you viewers for viewing. Always remember what a beautiful world it is that we live in, and this will be 10 points under and out.